Hi, I'm Tamara. Welcome to Healthy Homesteading Adventures. Today we're going to look at a little bit about how to go about getting your septic system started and put in. I'm not a perfect expert. My husband did a lot of this the first time around, but I will give you a little clue right now that I did end up having to have some things redone. But this will be a little bit about the first time around. Okay, so the first thing you want to do after you get your property is you've got to go to the county offices, and I am in Shasta County, and they're pretty stringent. Department of Resource Management and Environmental Health Division is what they call it. It says so on the back here. But they gave me this handout called Shasta County Sewage Disposal Standards. And I guess I could share a few of those things with you, but you would get totally bored if I read it all. Okay, it says land divisions not served by community sewerage. If you don't have regular community sewerage, you're going to need to put in a septic system. So it says, disposal area. Each parcel shall contain one or more disposal areas, each consisting of minimum ½ acre of usable disposable materials in locations which could reasonably be utilized by a structure built at a desirable and feasible site. Well, there's not a lot of building sites on this property, even though it's a very large 332 acre parcel. So we don't really have to deal with more than one disposal area. And these are important, so I thought I would share them with you. The disposal area shall not include land subject to flooding. So since I am near a creek, we have to make sure that the creek isn't going to be flooding up and over into my leach field. In case of disputes concerning flooding potential, the flooded area shall be determined by calculating the expected 10-year frequency flood. Land closer than 200 feet to a lake or reservoir measured from the high water line, or 100 feet if downslope from the lake or reservoir. Land closer than 200 feet to any spring, or 100 feet if downhill from the spring. Land within 100 feet of any existing or proposed well site for the parcel or any adjoining parcels. Land closer than 100 feet to an intermittent seasonal or perennial waterway measured from the top of the bank or other physically evident high water line. An intermittent stream is one which may continue to flow for 5 or more days after the passage of a storm. Land closer than 50 feet to an ephemeral stream measured from the edge of the channel. An ephemeral stream is one which flows for less than 5 days after the passage of a storm. Alright, basically, they don't want the leach field contaminating the water of any source for other people. That wouldn't be very nice. It contains no water from a spring, snow, or other long continuing surface source, and does not discharge to a perennial aquifer. Number 7, land closer than 50 feet downhill from an irrigation ditch or canal. I'm not going to read them all, there's 13. But you get the idea. And they tell you about percolation tests, that the land needs to have a percolation test. But they kind of also do kind of require that if they're going to make a parcel for sale, that it needs to have those percolation tests already. But you don't necessarily know that. They're not going to know it and tell you. So when you're buying the property, make sure that you see that that was done, or you're going to have to pay for it yourself. They want you to, they'll go into all sorts of stuff. You know, but a lot of this, if you get somebody that knows what they're doing to take care of all this for you, that's a good idea. You want to have a specialist working. So to save money, my husband decided he was going to do this stuff himself. And it ended up not being so great. But in the long run, what ended up happening is he began to realize that the county is charging so much money for permits, a permit for this, a permit for that, and he decided to rebel against the permits and go back to what he used to do as a patriot. And, you know, when they don't pay taxes and they fight for the legal rights to not have to pay all these permits because it's a free country and blah, 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 and it should be a free country. And they do charge so much for permits. In the end, after we divorced, I actually did go back and have to start redoing all the things that were not permitted. So, but let's just look at this. So one thing that we had to do was buy the septic tank. Okay, so the septic tank cost us it was a actual 1,500, probably 1,500 gallon Snyder Dominator septic tank. And it was 191 inches long, 60 inches wide, and 51 inches high. So that's a pretty good size. And it cost $1,932.70. So the next step was to get the septic tank in, and my husband dug a hole for the septic tank with our John Deere tractor. But he did have to break down and order or rent an excavator for like $300 a day to dig the trenching for the leach lines. So I'm beginning to realize that this video is going to be too long if I try to put the leach lines in with the septic tank. So we're just going to do the septic tank right now. I don't have any, well, maybe one little video of the septic tank and the sump pump, just as Gary's going to be starting to do the main line down to the leach field. So I may put in, I think I'll put that one in. So what we'll have is a slideshow and that video, and that will be the end for this one. Okay, so in the blog post, I will be putting some pictures and describing them. And I will put some little descriptions under the pictures also in the slideshow. But if you want more detail, do check out my blog at healthyhomesteadingadventures.com. And make sure you're subscribed there as well as on this video. Okay, this is the first bucket. Gary's starting to dig the trench for the septic tank leach lines. That black thing down there is our sump pump. We'll be pumping the effluent out from the septic tank right here. Okay. Dirt is getting in my face. This is a whole lot easier than doing this by hand. No kidding. Hey, thanks for watching today. Hope you were blessed.